Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box, the Technical Trader. It's Tuesday night, August the 21st. These are the charts of the day at TechTrader.com. As far as I'm concerned, today was a very ominous, nasty day, particularly for the NASDAQ 100 market generals, which often lead the market, and they led the market down today. After a beautiful rise in the morning and a gap up and run to new highs, they reversed them and inversed them nasty, with Apple dropping from near 675 to near 650 before it closed up a few points, but still a bad close overall. And I'd have to say that we may be at a near-term high or a short-term high, which could lead to several days of pullback. So I'm going to show you some longs that did well today, but we're going to focus on some shorts after we're done with this short list. First, solar, which when it broke out here and pulled back, I indicated could be a really interesting swing trade. And it moved from 16.5 to 25 just in the last couple weeks. A nice move for sure. This is the one big volume day that broke it out with the breakaway gap, and then testing the declining tops line, it backed up to test support and held, moved up, had an inside day, and then here we have two consecutive nice days with increasing volume, nearly 14.4 million traded today. If it continues and the market doesn't fall apart, we could see this at 29. That's my next target. Up next, OCZ. Now, not the most spectacular looking chart. You can see the stock has been down and up and down and up, and then particularly volatile of late where it was all over the place. It did hold this line and move up today through the 3-day resistance by popping 43 cents or 8%. Volume increased for the best in 3 weeks to 6,100,000, and it could be the beginning of some move. I'm looking for a test of the 7.5 range. If we get through that, we may see the stock at 9 or 10, but probably if a takeover does occur. Read. Boy, oh boy, what a move this has had in the last few months. Look at this move. And at this point, I'm going to have to say that I told a lot of you guys to exit the stock this morning when it was over 7. I got up to 720 and closed at 675. Nevertheless, still up 51 cents or 8%. And the volume was the best we've seen in months, literally. Well, since June. But at this point, one or two things are going to happen here. Similar to what happened here and then there, we had a following, pullback retest that may very well occur here. One of the reasons why I suggested exiting on a swing trade at my 715 target. Or it breaks through and spikes up. Rex Energy, after breaking out and platforming in this area, pulled right back to support, and today popped 99 cents or 8.2% on 2.5 million, and may have broken back out. We're going to have to see what it does with 13.75, my next minor resistance level. But if it gets through that, you may see 15.5 zone. RPRX acting very well after the pop yesterday. Today was a nice inside day with slightly higher pattern. And as a result, we're going to be looking for more upside. But right now, it needs to pop through 11.5 and stay there. Next target is 13 and then 14.5. SKX with a pop today jumped from 1946 to 2139, up $1.90, almost 10% at 2.25 million. That's the best volume since June in about 2 months. So perhaps we've seen a key breakout today. Look at the long-term chart. It's a beautiful rising channel. Next target up around 23.5. Beyond that, 28. And lastly, today is Varengo, which continues to astound me when I see this bullish green-looking pattern with high-level technicals. And today, it finally did pop 32 cents or 9.3%. Volume was a whopping 8 million shares, and it closed at or above the 50-day moving average and just at the declining top line. Let's see if it does get through. My targets are now 430 and then all the way up at 5.5. Moving over to the box of shorts list, we've got quite a few to cover. ABCO, ABCO, quite the negative looking pattern. Spiked down here a month ago and it's continuing to fall. Today, after running up to 42.5, closed at 41.08, down 69 cents for a negative reversal day and perhaps lower levels coming. Target 36, 6.5. ACTG, still in a wedge here and unable to pop. Terrible technicals. I could easily see this thing come down. Test the $23, 23.5 range quickly, and maybe even drop much further. I would have to give you a target now down around the 1920 zone. APAGF continues to drift lower. after a disastrous decline this year. Doesn't look like it's abated yet. And I'm looking for something now in the low teens, around 14, my next target. Big lots. Well, we put out a swing trade short on this. It came down, formed the bear flag in here. If this pattern breaks that trend line, I'd be looking for it to come down at 36 and then 34. Buffalo Wild Wings. After cracking hard here over the last 3 weeks, it's formed a beautiful bear wedge. Now that bear wedge comes below the major trend line. If we fall, we could roll over and roll over hard into the mid-60s. Let me correct this here. Sorry about that, folks. The video was a little off. Okay. CEC. Bad break here, and then a really bad crack here. This is a rising bear wedge, folks. Terrible technicals indicate lower levels to come. Look for something in the 26-28 zone. CLH. Clean Harbors has been coming down all year since March, let's call it February, when it spiked up. Broke here, snapped back to resistance, rolled over, formed a little bit of a bear flag right in here. Broke that. Now a little micro flag. Sure looks like the way this is looking, we may come down towards 50 on the next move. Maybe even as low as 46. Chipotle, still looking for the stock to crack this and crack it hard down into the mid 200s. DBD, topping formation, break the trend line, move back up in a bear flag. Up near the 21-day moving average, not far from resistance. And pushing up towards the declining channel top. But if this does break to the downside, I'd be looking for 29 and then 27 3/4. First Energy is up next. We put out a recent swing trade on the bear side, and you can see how it spiked down and formed a bear wedge here, or bear coil. This looks pretty ominous for a big drop back down into the low 40s for starters, maybe even 41. INT, similarly in a downtrend, a big crack, and then this wedge here, or coil, which if broken should lead to 32.33, my next target. Lincoln Electric, I know a couple of you guys are short, and we're not happy about the breakout above the moving averages, but we have one bastion of strength left. If we can get this to reverse here and come down, we can still see this fall away into the mid-30s. However, this is the key level of resistance. I know it's painful, but if it gets over 45, you need to cover. PPO, Polypore, also a breakdown below support and a pullback into a bear wedge with terrible technicals. No reason why this can't go lower. And the way I have this bear channel, it even looks like mid-20s is potentially doable. A new one we discovered today, thank you, Charlie, is RAVN, which had a really long rising channel that was broken today. In one fell swoop, it took out this topping pattern, lateral support, trendline support, and nearly tested the April-May lows. So provided it breaks down below 28.5, we could see the stock fall towards 25. TAL, well, it's been spending about 2-3 months now in this consolidation zone. Look how resistance was tested at that line and that line before it fell away today, dropping $1.25. If it does continue lower, we can see this come all the way down to 31.5. True Religion, a bear wedge is forming, or a bear flag, I should say. Terrible technicals, and it just appears to me that if it rolls, it'll roll hard and come down towards 18. And lastly is UPS, United Parcel Service, which appears to have broken the major uptrend here, and then at the same time has cracked, wedged, and looking closely today, it reversed from 76.88 to 75.90, closing just off the low. Any further downside, we're going to get this to test the lows in here, maybe here. So I'm looking for something around 72, 73 zone. But if that breaks, we can see a big fall down into the high 60s. That's it for tonight. Take it easy, everybody. Good luck tomorrow.